Last known survivor of transatlantic slave trade identified. A woman who was taken from Africa when she was just 2 years old has been identified as the last known survivor of the transatlantic slave trade. Matilda McCrear was taken from West Africa to Mobile, Alabama, on board the last slave transport ship, the Clotilda, in July 1860, a UK researcher has discovered, uncovering the life of a remarkable woman. McCrear was transported alongside her mother Gracie, 3 older sisters, and a man who became her stepfather, according to a press release from Newcastle University. Her 2 brothers were left in West Africa. McCrear, her mother and 1 sister were bought by the same slaveowner, while the other 2 siblings were never seen again. She died in 1940 when she was 81 or 82. McCrear's grandson, Johnny Crear, now 83 years old, said he had no idea she had been on the Clotilda, and said the new information will help him trace his family tree. Hannah Durkin, a lecturer from Newcastle University, UK, uncovered McCrear's history. Last April, Durkin revealed the story of another woman, Gracie, who was thought to be the oldest known survivor, but McCrear lived 3 years longer than her. In some ways Matilda was more fortunate than the vast majority of Middle Passage survivors, said Durkin. She got to stay with her mother and 1 of her sisters, and because she was only 2 when she was taken from Africa, she was still very young when she was emancipated. However, Durkin emphasized that McCrear's life was incredibly hard and highlights the horrors of slavery. She went on to live a remarkable life and resisted society's expectations of a black woman in the U.S. South following emancipation, according to Durkin. She didn't get married. Instead, she had a decades-long common-law marriage with a white German-born man, with whom she had 14 children, said Durkin. Even though she left West Africa when she was a toddler, she appears throughout her life to have worn her hair in a traditional Yoruba style, a style presumably taught to her by her mother. McCrear also changed her name from Crear, her former enslaver's spelling, added Durkin, and also campaigned for compensation as a survivor of the Clotilda. Another survivor, Clotilda Lewis, had received financial assistance, and McCrear made a claim for herself in Gracie. Her request was ultimately rejected, but McCrear was interviewed in the Selma Times Journal as a result, and Durkin found the paper during her research. Durkin's work, uncovering the hidden lives of last Clotilda survivor Matilda McCrear and her family, is published in Slavery and Abolition, a journal of slave and post-slave studies. McCrear's grandson, Crear, of Selma, Alabama, was surprised to learn about his grandmother's story. Her story gives me mixed emotions because if she hadn't been brought here, I wouldn't be here. But it's hard to read about what she experienced, said Crear. However, the stories of her resistance to oppression fitted with what he had been told about his grandmother. I was told she was quite rambunctious, he said. And learning about McCrear's story has given the family valuable information in their search to fill in the family tree. Durkin said she hopes her research will enable more descendants of transatlantic slave trade survivors to trace their ancestry. Click subscribe to receive the latest news.